It's 15 minutes before India's shift starts and she hasn't even left the house. She ran down her apartment stairs to her most prized possession, Mocha. Mocha is the most expensive toy India bought on her own. Brand new, zero down payment. Shout out to her once great credit score. India's shift started at 5, and no matter how hard she tries, she's always late. Probably because she always sparks up before she gets ready. The herbs calm her nerves before she deals with the no-tipping ingrates at her serving job. The guests piss her off, but not more than the employees. She started her car, and for the 5th time this week, the motherfucker act like it didn't feel like starting. This is the very reason India backs into every parking space, saying her daily silent prayer. Lord, hold Mocha down. I can't afford to have her quit on me now. Mocha started after a delayed 4 seconds, and India changed the gear into drive, took off, and put on her seatbelt all at the same time. Ever since last week when India almost ran over someone's dog in her apartment complex, she checks herself for speeding, but most of the time she forgets. As she approached the complex gate, it slowly opened, letting her out, as she heard a mini reclip of Charlamagne the God giving Donkey of the Day to French Montana's ignorant ass. He was telling people to stop messing with R. Kelly and let him be a legend. Shit, sounds like he might be getting some claims filed against him next. You know, ignorance follow ignorance. The beat blessed India's speaker with her theme song Money, right before she could change the station. India heard the beat drop, and once Cardi says those first words, ain't no changing the song.
Niggas are real, I ride his dick, it's a big tall hill. Big large bills, front I flip like 10 cartwheels. Hey, all kill. Eat in the car, that's meals on wheels.
India joins Cardi screaming,
I was born to flex, diamonds on my neck. I like boarding jets, I like more than sex, but nothing in this world that I like more than checks. Money.
India turns to see she has an audience looking at her performance at the light. She turned back and drove off as soon as the light turned green.
Shake a little ass, get you a little back, and take it to the stove.
This song alone reminds India why she puts up with her job. India turned her music down a little as she pulled up to the legendary Slick Bar and Grill. She grabbed her apron and her booklet, then headed towards pre-shift. As soon as she walked to the main doors, all eyes turned towards her. Every time India gets high, she's paranoid that someone will sniff her out. She continued to walk past the guests and the other workers straight towards the kitchen, avoiding eye contact. India reached the kitchen and was greeted by what seemed to feel like 100 degrees of heat and loud-ass Tutu, her favorite Latina, and the only person that keeps her laughing and saying. Tutu is a bartender, and the way the girl is built, she's guaranteed to make $150, and that's on a slow night. She just turns around and gives them a show, both women and men. She doesn't discriminate. Tutu's a chocolate Latina. She's 5'5" with a sassy-ass mouth. Tutu has no waist, and her stomach, well, let's just say she has about 6 or 8 packs underneath that uniform shirt. She works out when she's mad at Chuck, her dude, and let's just say she's always mad at him. At least he gets the benefit. Tutu has a head full of curly kinky hair, and she just throws it up in a bun. She does her brows and lashes. She saves the rest of that shit for the ugly bitches she shares the bar with. They should leave it up to professionals and stop practicing on each other. India pulled out her slick card to clock in, and with 60 seconds to spare, India walks to the back of the kitchen to see where pre-shift was being held. Much to her disappointment, it was outside where it felt like 40 degrees. On her way back there, she takes a look at the kitchen manager, Josh, and rolled her eyes in disgust that she even had a brief crush on him. Josh was tall and slinky, but for the options in the back of the kitchen, he was the cutest one. So she thought. The more days India worked, the more she realized Josh was a fraud. He just wanted to be liked. She could not stand people who just needed to be liked. Not to mention the motherfucker gave her a pink slip. Yes, a goddamn pink slip. Like they're in elementary school. Josh and pushover ass Bridget, the floor manager, wrote India up for holding a ticket order of 5 wings and some fries, because the kitchen was shutting down and the cooks had to reheat the grill. Nobody told them motherfuckers to throw them wings away, so India did not sign her slip, and ever since, she just stopped fucking with his square ass. Also, he rolls his eyes like a female, so he wouldn't even lasted 1 day with India. She passed up some more servers and grabbed her phone to check it one last time before she put it away, and then ran smack into Tarzan.
Tarzan.
Yes, His mama really named him that.
Really?
Tarzan is one of the cooks. India had a crush on him too before she found out he was a super flirt. She thinks he's dating one of the hosts. One day, India was doing her side work, replacing the cups, and Tarzan just needed to pass her by. But instead of saying excuse me, he grabbed her waist and brushed his dick past her ass.
Oh, hell no.
That wasn't the first time he got a free touch of her ass either. India is a dark chocolate with a small waist and a nice round booty. She's a proud member of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee.
Me too.
India has a doll face, pure without any acne. The only blemish she has on her is the one on the left side of her nose from the time she and an old friend tried to give themselves nose piercings with a regular burnt needle and some alcohol.
Damn challenges.
India gave up. She couldn't bear the pain, but she was left with the scar no one notices but her. She wears her hair however she feels fit for the day, and she loves confusing her white co-workers by changing up her wigs daily. Watch where you going, little, before I have to beat that ass, Tarzan yapped. India looked at him and completely ignored everything that came out of his mouth. She just received a text message from Travis with a screenshot of his flight. Oh shit, India yelled, realizing that she was going to have to fuck this man to back up all that shit she's been talking.
Oh shit.
2 years ago, India was in her senior year of undergrad, and like most colleges, everyone who was still in town over the summer usually bonds with each other, and that's how India met Travis. They created this friendship that was everything to India. She vented to Travis about all her fuckboys, and Travis used India to run off the girls that overstayed their welcome at his house. It was Friday, 2 days before classes started. India, Travis, and the Rollers sparked up and had 4 blunts in rotation at 4:20 like clockwork. Rollers is the name India gave Travis and his friends Tommy, John, and a couple other names who she didn't care to remember. They all heard a knock at the door. It startled them because Travis' neighbor was always in her feelings when it was too loud, if you catch my drift. Tommy walked over to the door. He looked through the peephole and it was covered. "Who the fuck is it?" Travis yelled. "Man, I don't know. This motherfucker covering up the peephole," Tommy replied. They kept banging. Travis grabbed his gun from underneath the cushion on the couch right under India. India's eyes opened so wide and her thoughts came out.
Oh, hell no. Y'all ain't living right.
She looked out the window to see if it was the boys. She pushed Tommy to the side, then opened up the door. "Dre!" the niggas yelled, raising up their hands. India looked at Dre and smiled, remember seeing him at her job where she used to serve. He looked at her like he was going to eat her and stayed on her ass the entire night. India liked his attention because she felt like it was time to start messing with someone new her last year. What she didn't know was Dre was living 2 lives. India went months with only talking and fucking him. Well, kinda. India felt like if you get caught fucking up, you simply didn't care about the other person to spare their feelings. India and Dre were inseparable. He damn near moved her into his apartment, making sure she had a drawer and that she slept there with him every night he was in town. First time they had sex, Dre was so smooth and India was naive. She spent the night over Dre's house and slept with only a t-shirt on. They made it through the first night sex-free, but when they woke up, Dre got on top of India, made her laugh, then started to rub his dick on India's lady parts, and then slowly poked his way in while looking India in her eyes. India knew she really wasn't ready to have sex, but she questioned why she came there in the first place.
Can you get out of me, please?
India asked Dre, ruining the entire mood. Dre did as he was asked and slowed down. The next week, India and Dre were fucking like rabbits. Everything was great. India even considered moving close to Dre after graduation. But then 2 days before Valentine's Day, Dre and India were texting and she just had this feeling that she could not shake. She looked on Facebook and saw his post, "I got me a trophy," with him and some thick, tall, light-skinned girl. Of course! He cuffs the light-skinned girl, India thought to herself, then found herself enraged. This man made India the side chick. He forced her to be a side chick. After India found out, she didn't care. His dick was too good to let go of. She cut off all her other dicks, and to be honest, they were not worthy, so she kept fucking him. Nothing changed. She still was sleeping with him every night, and all this did was create a monster. India never trusted anything he said, and she continued to feed him lies. One day, while India was at work, she saw a flyer in the student center. The Runway Guys were hosting the annual spring fashion show, and since it was India's last year, she decided to sign up. India modeled in the swimsuit and urban clothes category, and she killed it. She knew that all her previous hoes were going to be in the building, and she was determined to make them wish that they were still fucking her. She stepped out in the all-white monokini, showing off her glowing chocolate skin, small breasts, the front of her flat stomach, and when she turned around to strike a pose, that round chocolate ass sat up. The swimsuit complemented every inch of her petite yet slightly curvy body. India was built like a goddess. The crowd ate up her performance. Dre stood there smiling, just confident that he was going to fuck her that night. And Travis, well, let's just say this is where his story begins. Travis had seen India dressed up before, but he had never seen her like this. Bold, beautiful, and unapologetic. He knew he just had to have her. He also knew that it would be a tricky, complicated situation, so he had to be patient. The fashion show ended, and India's phone had a message from damn near every one of her previous hoes. The first one being Dre. When she looked through all the messages, she noticed that she did not receive one from Body, her previous fling before Dre. Body was special because he was honest with his intentions, and the fact that she knew he was there, first row, and didn't hit her up, had her mind blown. She ignored every message from Dre. She was beyond over him and his bullshit, and she pulled up to Body's house. No warning, just knocked on his door and prayed for the best. He opened up the door to see India greeting him with an all-black trench coat and nothing underneath. He pulled her in. He made sure she felt all 9.5 inches of his caramel delight. Body and India have a history, but we can get into that another time. Present day. India put her phone on Do Not Disturb and walked outside to pre-shift. Tutu must have seen India had something on her mind.
Basta, mommy. Who put you in your feelings?
Tutu asked India.
Remember when you told me I was going to have to back my shit up when I was thirst trapping Travis and others?
India whispered.
Yeah. Somebody coming to collect?
Tutu said, making all the servers look their direction. Of course, Bridget is the floor closing manager, so India was already prepared for a long night. Something funny, Tutu? Bridget said while looking at India.
My name is India.
India said with an attitude in her voice. Bridget White ass always getting Tutu and India confused, like all black people look alike. That shit ain't cool. Tutu and India felt like they were their own person, and the manager of all people should understand that. Bridget turned red. You can lose your attitude. It's not that serious. And if you two weren't joking around, I wouldn't have said anything to you. Also, take off that jacket. It's not uniform. This comment set India all the way off, and the general manager, Diego, got to hear her complaints firsthand. The argument of poor and unfair working conditions came up, and Bridget kept calling India Tutu, made matters worse. Diego stepped in so that he could wrap up pre-shift and asked to see India in his office. India left out the office, annoyed yet relieved that Diego understood her side. When India hit the floor, she noticed that she was triple sat and no one even tried to greet her tables. Her night ended just as crazy as it started, but she walked out 6 hours later with $183 in her pocket, so she kept her complaints minimal. Tutu, on the other hand, left out with $415 working the bar. $50 was tip outs from the servers. Chad had Tutu's car, so she rode with India back home, but Tutu convinced India to go out on a little adventure. She hit up her weed man, and they met him at the gas station. India pulled up to the pump and walked into the store so she could pay for the gas and buy some backwoods. She walked back, spotting this gorgeous chocolate smooth man headed towards the store. They gave each other a long look as they passed each other. India got back to her car to pump her gas when she noticed the weed man and Futuristic were riding in the same car.
Girl, who is that chocolate delight with your weed man?
India asked Tutu.
I don't call him the weed man, okay? He just supplies weed to me. His workers sell the weed. But that's his older brother, Black.
Tutu snapped.
Huh. So what bro's the plug?
India asked, and the two burst into laughter. Tutu rolled up while India drove to the after hours that turns into a strip club. No actual dancers work there. Girls just show up and dudes throw them money. They are damn near naked, of course, bouncing their asses, but it's a quick way to make money without putting in too much work. The ladies took off their work shirts, then sparked up in the car. Tutu pulled out 2 small shot bottles of Hennessy. They threw them back and walked up to the spot. India was dreading that long line ahead. Tutu must have been reading her mind because she said,
"Bitch, we ain't waiting in line. Yo soy la matatana, okay? I know somebody up in here. We too damn cute."
Tutu had on an all-black bodysuit. She looked like Catwoman. And India had on a tube top with black skinny jeans. Luckily, she had a jean jacket in the car, so she wouldn't be cold. India saw Black by himself. The two stared at each other. This time, he didn't let her get away. He grabbed and pulled her close, whispering,
"Who you here with?"
in her ear. India smiled and pulled Tutu close, and the next thing you know, the 2 ladies were up in his section. He told them whatever they wanted was on him.
Be careful, India. You know it's the weekend, and that's when the Flexers in Houston come out. Don't get too tied up. But have fun.
Black had India's attention, and she sure had his. A week passed, and India was head over heels for Black. She was happy she had someone local to entertain her, but Travis was going to be flying in soon. India tried to keep her cool, but Black had a way of making her cream her panties without even being around. India was getting ready for her first real date with Black. She got completely sexy for him. She was so fine she seduced her damn self. She had to show it off to a few of her playmates. She sent the same picture to Dre, Travis, and Body. Everyone responded except for Body. India was convinced that he was playing hard to get. Black knocked on India's door to pick her up, and when she opened up the door, his breath was taken. Ironically, Black wore an all-black suit with a black and silver tie. India didn't stand a chance. He kissed her and pushed her into the house. She had on an all-red dress that looked painted on her body. Her hair was in a curly high ponytail with curly coils on the side with a little slickage of the baby hair. India had a natural face with thick, long lashes, lip gloss, and she worked her magic on her brows. Black grabbed and squeezed her ass while licking her neck. He obviously couldn't wait for dinner because he picked India up, put her on the bar, then started to eat.
"No panties? You knew I was going to feast,"
Black said as he licked, blew, and sucked on her clit. The date never happened, and the two ended up fucking on the bar, couch, and they eventually ended up on the bed. Most of the time, India was running. It's been a minute since she fucked the guy with a big, thick dick. By a minute, 3 months. It's been 3 months since she fucked Travis. How did that happen? Well, homecoming. Man, oh man. India could have been named Captain of the Slut Walk 3 months ago. India decided to live her life spontaneously. She took a last-minute trip to homecoming after so many people asked her to come, and she only had one thing on her mind. As soon as her plane landed, she rented a car and headed towards Travis' house. She knew he would be surprised to see her, and he would have a blunt already rolled. India was a little nervous because she and Travis had recently started sexting, and she really wasn't ready to cross that line. This was a time she wanted him to have a couple of his hoes over or a house full of people, so she wouldn't have to bullshit him. She pulled up on him, and guess who opened the door?
Dre?
India said,
"You look like you saw a ghost. I ain't even know you was coming to homecoming this year. Maybe we can see."
Dre was cut off by India as soon as she saw Travis and Tommy, who she called her brother. India was saved this time by the house full of people. The entire time Dre was trying to get her attention, she admired how Travis was so player. He sent her a couple texts, and nobody in the house could have guessed that India was going to be Travis's next challenge. India basically told Dre it wasn't going to happen, then asked him about his baby mama and the new baby on the way. Why is it that guys post all their business, follow you on social media, then act all shocked when you inform them that you're all caught up? Dre got his girlfriend, who he had been cheating on with India, pregnant. India constantly thanked God for not letting her get pregnant by him because those two never wore condoms. India left and headed to the alumni party where she ran smack into Body and Lando, another guy India messed with in college. India and her old friends headed to the dance floor. India started winding her hips and making her ass jump. Lando was the first to stand behind her. India really didn't like Lando because he had a small dick and he always came in less than 5 minutes. She just didn't have the heart to tell him. Lando was in love with India's cookie. After she finished her dance, he took her to the coat closet and ate her pussy. India really didn't care for his head because it was either hit or miss, but that night he had a point to prove. She almost gave in to let him fuck, but Body texted her, and anytime Body hits India up, she went. His wish was literally her command. She wasn't thirsty for him, but she liked messing with him. It came with perks, and the sex was always bomb. Body had an average sized penis, but it was nice and thick. It was India's favorite thing to suck on. India and Body were supposed to meet up, but he supposedly went to sleep after the party, and India's homegirls had to carry her back to the hotel room. Saturday morning, a few hours before the football game, India woke up to 3 missed calls from Travis and 1 message asking where she was and if she was going to stay over. India got ready for the game and met up with her homegirls over Travis' house so they can head to the tailgating party. Dre was at the spot again, and he literally wanted India to give in. He also is in love with India's pussy. He told all his boys he would literally cheat on his wife with India. He described it as a warm, slippery, wet virgin box. Called her ass the snatchback because her shit is always tight. He pulled India into the room in the back of Travis' house, claiming that he needed to talk, and the next thing she knew, her pussy was in his mouth. This was shocking to India because as many times as she sucked Dre's dick, he never gave her head. This time he gave her head, and when he thought she was going to fall for the okie doke, she got up and said thank you. The entire 20 minutes he was eating her pussy, she kept thinking about how she just got head from another man less than 9 hours ago. She felt like a savage. The crew went to the game, turned up to the band, and left to get ready for Saturday night's festivities. This was the last night India was in town, and she was sick that she still hadn't gotten any dick. She wasn't fucking anybody in Houston, and she needed some. Have you ever been in a room with more than 3 guys you were fucking, all in attendance? That was India's Saturday night, and she didn't feel any way because she kept reminding herself she was single. Travis was salty at her because she was leading him on the entire weekend. Dre knew he was going to finish what he started, but India put him on the block list, and Body finally hit her up. India picked an early flight since she was riding under a buddy pass and she really wanted to get a seat, so she didn't have much time to party and fuck. Body and India left the party, and she was finally about to get what she's been yearning for. The two got into Body's truck. He lifted her shirt to suck on her titties. He slid his fingers down her shorts and started to tease her clit. India wanted him more now than ever. He pulled out his dick, and India knew that was her cue to give him the world. She continued to suck. Then he lifted her head and told her to sit on it. As soon as she sat on it, it went soft. At this point, he put a condom on, and India didn't believe in sucking dick after the condom has been put on because she didn't like the taste of condom. She asked him,
"You got a girl or something? He has never done that to me before. Are you feeling guilty?"
Body said,
Something like that, but you just gotta get it hard again, and I got you.
India wasn't interested. She went back to her hotel room, took a shower, and packed the rest of her things. She was flying out in less than 4 hours. India arrived at the airport 2 hours before her flight, just sitting, trying to sober up before the flight. The agents didn't even tell India she couldn't get on the flight until the flight was boarded and taken off. "Excuse me, ma'am, the flight is booked, and there won't be another flight to Houston until tomorrow afternoon." India was sick. She got her friend to pick her up from the airport. Travis texted India right on cue. She filled him in on her flight dilemma. Next thing you know, her friend was dropping her off at his house. This time, Travis' house was almost empty. Tommy was slumped on the couch, so he didn't even notice India was there. India went up the stairs to find Travis. She found him shirtless with a pair of basketball shorts on. Travis was skinny but buff, covered with tattoos all over his neck and chest. He wasn't wearing any drawers, so his 10-inch monster kept poking through his shorts. When India walked in his room, he got out the chair and greeted her with the blunt. She sat at the edge of his bed. The two smoked and had a homecoming recap. Travis got up to hand India back the blunt, then started to kiss and lick her neck. India tried to continue smoking and remain calm, but Travis wouldn't let her. His soft pink lips touched hers as they fell back on the bed. He pulled off her sweats, spread her legs, and feasted on her lady part. This was the best hit India has ever received. She couldn't even run from it. He kept burying his face in between her legs. He pulled down his shorts, then rubbed his magic up and down her pussy, practically making India beg for it. He leaned down to kiss her, then stuck it in, slowly going in and out. India felt like she was experiencing real sex for the first time. His thick monster pushed every button inside of her. India low-key took it like a pro. She also was still intoxicated, therefore bolder. Travis noticed India was looking back at the giant mirror he bought himself solely for fucking. He felt it intensified the moment. He picked her up and stood in front of the mirror, giving her fast, deep strokes. She asked if he had any condoms. He got up to ask Tommy for some, but India pulled him towards her.
Fuck it. Just keep fucking me.
India said. Travis didn't waste any time. India assumed the position to get the ultimate backshot Travis claimed to be the king of. He called himself the backshot slayer. He licked her clit all the way back to her ass. He showed her love. India couldn't tell if he was flexing because he was fucking her or if he was really that nasty. India rushed him to come because she had to get to the airport in 3 hours and the drive was 2.5 hours. Travis took her to the airport. He ignored the GPS and took the back way, which made it an hour and 45-minute drive. Since they arrived early, he pulled the passenger seat back and told India to take off her pants. Travis sent India home smiling. She thought her random trip for guaranteed dick was going to be failure, but she had exactly what she yearned for. Present day. After a week, Black already started changing up. He used to call India throughout the day, and they started to talk on the phone every night. He always went out of his way to see India, of course to places they could end up fucking. Even gave India some cash to help her on her bills, but she never was given the date she was promised. India cut back on her shifts at Slicks because she was getting money from Black. A month passed since Black and India started messing around, and Travis was about to come in town. India wanted more than what Black seemed to have time for, so she was looking forward to seeing her old college BFF. Black claimed to be at meetings and at work at 10, 11 at night, and then he had to be up at 5 a.m. for work. Days he promised to give India, he randomly had to work, so India started to get suspicious. Tutu stopped by India's house, and the two ladies caught up. Tutu started a conversation by telling India she had been cheating on Chuck for about 3 months. India wasn't surprised, and Tutu didn't give away any details. India said,
Girl, guess who's about to pound my walls this weekend?
Tutu guessed right on the money.
Travis?
She knew she couldn't be talking about Black because even though they only fucked on his schedule, it wouldn't have been guessing worthy. India picked Travis up from the airport and he had blunts already ready for the drive back to India's place. When they got in the house, India gave him the grand tour. Travis invited India to take a shower with him.
I took a shower already.
India declined. She soon realized she missed her chance to be spontaneous. India chilled in the living room, waiting for Travis to get out the shower. He walked in with a towel wrapped around his waist, shining. He must have found India's coconut oil next to the shower. He bent down to kiss her. He kissed her as if she was the one and only lady on his mind. He put passion in that kiss.
I want to taste her,
Travis said softly in her ear. Travis did his thing, and when he decided to come off the air, he grabbed the weed and started to roll a blunt. India used that moment to be spontaneous. She unwrapped the towel on Travis's waist and inserted his 10-inch monster in her mouth. She felt like it was something Trina would say. Suck your man dick while he rolling the weed. The two of them fucked all weekend. India didn't even think of Black until Travis took her to the Rockets game. Travis and India were kicking it, like old times, having fun and goofing around. They didn't display any PDA. The Rockets won the game and the crowd was lit. Travis asked India to take a picture of him in front of the Toyota Center. She grabbed his phone and took a few steps back to get a better shot and angle. She snapped the first picture and attempted to take a second for backup when her heart fell to her chest, making her drop Travis's phone. Standing right in front of her, behind Travis, stood Black, with the angel on his neck, kissing who seemed to be his girlfriend. India couldn't breathe. She gave Travis back his phone. Thank God it didn't crack. Shout out to Galaxy. All India could feel was rage. He lied to her for weeks. She knew something was off with him, but every time she spoke to him, he made her feel like she was nuts. This explains why he never took her out in public on a date. India felt like he just liked fucking her since they barely got to see each other. This man had a whole woman. India put her hand down Travis' pants, gently grabbed his dick, and pulled him closer. She started to kiss him, and this time with the same passion he had when he first arrived. Travis grabbed her ass and pulled her closer. These two grabbed everybody's attention. Black didn't know India saw him at the game, but India knew Black had to see her and Travis. India's sex den was over. Travis was on the plane. India looked through her block list and seen Black called her 35 times and left her 2 voicemails and 10 messages. He seemed angry in all of them except the last one. Call me, baby. I miss you. India texts Black, I need some. 8 weeks later.
Bitch, I think I got diabetes or something like.
India told Tutu at the bar. India had been working more hours at Slicks so she could get over Black and pay her bills since she cut off her line of extra cash. Tutu responded,
Diabetes? ¿Por qué? Why do you think that?
India had been feeling fatigued and nauseated for the last couple weeks. Tutu made India go to the 24-hour clinic after their shift, and India got the most shocking news. Your sugar is fine. You're just going to be a mother, the doctor said at the clinic. India was about 8 weeks pregnant. Tutu leaned over to India.
Do we know who the father is?